NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
Today's programming is brought to you by NCTV45 and NC Radio 450, Newcastle's community television station. This program furnished by Sporting Goods, 23 East Washington Street, Newcastle. Call 724-658-2535.
Welcome to the Cedars Sports Corner, everybody. I'm Alex Laverson, and with us, as always, is Mr. Angelo Prada.
I was going to say you're Alex, and I'm not.
Lucky for you, I guess. Lucky for me, I'm not Angelo, right? Angelo, college basketball division tournaments, conference tournaments are starting.
I have to go there because it's this way. As we're looking at airtime, we're looking at a lot of the minor stuff going on. Now, when you get to Tuesday of this week, and you'll already have the results, Pitt is playing Wake Forest.
And man, Pitt has lost, 11 out of their last 13. They can't win in February. They kind of
My question is, and then I got a question. Will the St. Francis Robert Morris game generate more interest than Pitt Wake Forest locally?
I think it should. I mean, Pitt hasn't, and you know me, I'm a Pitt fan, but they have not deserved to have the, this type of attention.
Do you know why I asked the question? Tickets as low as $3 for the Pitt game. Tickets as low as, you read the number, $4,835.
I'm thinking that's
for Robert Morris in St. Francis.
I think that has to be a computer glitch. There's no way a St. Francis Robert Morris game is gonna be $4,835 a ticket. Maybe it meant to say.
Maybe because it's in a smaller arena.
I don't know. There's no way it's gonna be that much. Maybe whoever entered that in maybe it's supposed to be like $4.80 or something.
Well, they put the 3 and the 5. I mean, that's a 4-digit number.
I don't know. Maybe the person who entered that in is trying to,
garner interest. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So Pitt's at the 4:30 game, and the other thing is they're not even in a prime time spot.
They don't deserve to be. I mean, listen, they play.
I stood up for Pitt football. You know that.
I know you've been critical of Pitt basketball. I think I addressed this in one of our other shows. There's a lot of internal conflict going on with their 2-star players, Xavier Johnson and Trey McGowan's. Ball hogging, not putting in effort. I would be surprised if they went.
For once, I'm sitting back like the Dukes. I'm gonna enjoy my Coke and listen to Pitt trying to talk their way out of this one.
Oh no, I'm not saying they talk their way out of it. They're upset because when they would play well, they'd stay in the game. They played poorly. Capel didn't take them out. And again, that's not sitting well with them. And then you had Eric Hamilton.
Maybe he wasn't capable.
Yeah, maybe. I like what you did there. It was Eric Hamilton from Pitt at one of the post-game interviews. Come out and says in a public interviews that he's having teammates not putting in all of their effort. That's like a big no-no. When you have people, we got fans,
They're at the windows. See,
Right,
because we're so good that they watch us all over the world, just not nationally, like.
Who needs ESPN when you got up?
That's right.
But there's a lot of internal problems. Look, Pitt basketball will be fine in the long run. They got some amazing recruits coming in, but it's going to be a while.
Now,
Give them a few years. Well, maybe a few years.
we go to Wednesday, which is today when we're airing. Now, you have to say two things today. Are you ready?
Okay.
One, happy birthday.
To who?
Me.
Today's your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, young man.
There you go.
Oh,
Now,
I
the other thing.
I would have got you something.
The other thing is, go Irish. The Irish take on Boston College at 7 o'clock. Which means Pitt was lower than Notre Dame.
As they should be. They're what? One more loss, they're going to have a losing season. I think they're about 15-15 on the year or something like that. Pitt, they did it to themselves. They're capable of playing better the way they did. I don't know.
Now, here's an interesting thing. St. Joe's plays George Mason, and I'm going to go Atlantic 10 here. Fordham, I'm all choked up, plays George Washington. And as you go down and look, the Dukes are sitting up pretty high, because that's Wednesday's schedule. As you get to Thursday, tell me happy anniversary.
Oh, you got a busy week, huh?
I'm telling you.
What a week you have.
Now,
Duquesne, birthdays, anniversaries.
the Dukes, my question is, when are they getting mentioned to play? Because St. Bonaventure has a Thursday game. Okay. Davidson plays LaSalle. Okay. And the Dukes may have gotten a top seed that you're not seeing them until, look, Dayton, Friday the 13th. And when are you seeing the Dukes? So that becomes a question of mine. St. Louis, another top seed in the A10. So you've got an interesting setup where the Dukes were third, fourth, fifth place, 21-9, and
They needed to learn. They needed to learn.
they're scheduled to play. They're scheduled to play on the 12th with a to-be-announced team.
Well, I guess I should take that back. They won, was it 3 out of their last 4?
Right.
And they did struggle at part of February.
Yeah, that middle part of February was not good to them.
So they lost. Yeah, they lost. What? 6.
They were 15
8.
15-0 until
They had that slump.
they had the slump.
Yeah. And speaking of Duquesne, this is gonna surprise you. Guess who gave them a shout out on Twitter? And if this is one of your favorite people,
Who was that?
LeBron James. He retweeted the Duquesne coach, talking about, his players, how he discipline them and things like that. He retweeted Duquesne, and Duquesne, thanks to LeBron James, got national media attention. So
Well, you have to
take
understand, LeBron is from the same area. That guy was coaching out at Kent State or Akron, or I think it was Kent State.
Mhm. Well, I didn't even know that, but I think we should probably take a break, and we'll discuss more college hoops for our next segment.
And you can go out and give me a birthday cake or something.
And have to go give him a birthday gift. And now a word from our sponsors.
If you're craving hot dogs and more, and you're in the area, then look no farther than Coney Island, downtown Newcastle on Kennedy Square.
Easy Clean Car and Van Wash, where your clean wash is our goal.
This program was provided through funding from Cedars Restaurant in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A special thanks to Cedars, featuring Middle Eastern, Italian, and American cuisine.
Welcome back to the Cedar Sports Corner, everybody. And so Angelo Duquesne has a bye, and they'll be playing.
When was the last time Duquesne had a bye?
It's been. Well,
It's been a hell of a long time.
yeah, so good for them. So this is a pretty special a game for you, whoever it's gonna be. And I know how you get when your teams lose, especially when you have to come in the next day and deal with me. So happy birthday! I got you some aspirin because you're gonna need it. But
Mike, and you think he's a nice guy? That aspirin, he's already said. Listen, the Dukes of Notre Dame are going to cruise right in to the tournament. Now, I have a question.
okay.
Could the NIT be a better spectator tournament than the NCAA?
I feel like a lot of times it is, or at least it can be. I mean,
Well,
look
at the number of 20-win teams you have, and you only can put 64, or they added those extra games.
And also I think it depends on like the school. So you have for example, you have Penn State winning the NIT, or you have TCU, and those schools usually don't get much, basketball recognition. To them, it's everything.
What happens if you put, I'm just going crazy here. What if you have a Duquesne, Notre Dame, Penn State? They put Pitt in because they want a Pitt-Penn State game. NIT tournament.
There's no way Pitt gets the NIT.
Well, but I mean, is it a better spectator tournament?
For if it was something like that, I think I would definitely prefer to watch that. I think it depends on the schools that are in it. Now maybe on the Western Coast, there's no Western Coast schools in it. Then the West probably isn't going to care too much about it. But in general, the March Madness, it's most every sports fan. I wouldn't say most every sports fan. Many sports fans will say that's the best postseason in all of sports. It's probably my favorite. But sometimes you get so frustrated after round one, your brackets burn, you throw it down, you had enough. That happens to me a lot. So
Well,
then I would like to see, something like you just mentioned, Pitt, Penn State, Notre Dame, that would be pretty cool.
in this bracketology that they're talking about, you're looking at Robert Morris making it and potentially playing Dayton if they beat North Carolina Central. But other close to home deals, and I say this, Penn State, they're going to have to win in order to garner that number 6 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll play at NC State, Texas, and I like NC State. I'm going to say that right out because they've been playing some pretty consistent basketball. And I'll let you comment in a second. Then you've got West Virginia going in, so that's some local interest there.
I hate West Virginia.
And as I look at these teams, they left out a lot of 21-win teams.
Well, I mean, that's how it is with the March Madness. That's why you have bubble watch. You've got people debating who should be in, who's going to be out. They're checking the schedules. RPI. There's so many factors, and you're going to have 20-win schools left out. Some of them shouldn't have been left out over the years. and some of them, should have been. So it's just, I think that's part of why it makes it so fun to people, because you could get like a George Mason type of school and go all the way to the Final Four.
See, they didn't even put the A10 on a bubble watch list. They put them under other. And that's the Richmond Spiders. Now, they're a good A10 team. Okay. And I just think that you have to watch who you have flying here. No pun intended, like the Dayton Flyers. Okay, because you've got some pretty big 20-win teams.
And I think maybe we'll talk more about that in our next segment. But let's take a break and now word from our sponsors.
This program furnished by the MAD Unit, Mobile Auto Detailing. See Michael Sad at themadunit.com. These fine businesses provided funding for this program. Gatherings, Town and Country, and On Target. Hello, friends. Pinella Brothers, 1701 Hamilton Street, provided funding for this program. Great food and drink, Pinella Brothers.
Welcome back to our last segment of the Cedar Sports Corner.
I like when you do all the work.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of used to that by now. Happy birthday, buddy. But Angelo, we were discussing a little bit during the break of how there's obviously, as I said before, so many factors that determine what schools get left out of the tournament. You could have such a large sample size of teams who have 20+ wins. But again, let's take.
How do you say? Here's my question. How do you say a San Diego State at 30-2 should be ranked below Kansas 28-3?
Well,
how do you say the Dayton Flyers should be third and not first? They're 29-2. Kansas has more losses.
Well, again, and this is what I was trying to say during break, it goes back to the importance of being part of a power conference. So, you're part of the 5 major college conferences, whether the ACC, the Big Ten, SEC, blah blah blah. Schools want to do that, so they'll be given the benefit of the doubt.
But
maybe sometimes they shouldn't be given that benefit of the doubt.
Is that just a money thing?
Well, of course they want to get into a named conference for money, but I'm saying when you're part of a power conference like that, you'll be given the benefit of the doubt over smaller schools. I'm not saying in every scenario they should be. I'm not even saying in most scenarios they should be, but I'm saying that's just going to happen perception-wise. And so, for example, whether it's a Houston or a West Virginia, let's say a Houston or a West Virginia, they finish with similar record with a non-power school, a non-conference power school. You would just naturally, voters or fans are going to think, oh, this team has to be better. They have face tougher competition.
Okay.
It's not always true. It just from a perception standpoint, it's usually happening. It very often it happens this way. Assuming their schedules are similar, their wins and losses, upsets are similar.
Well, as you look at this ranking, you see very similar numbers. West Virginia, Illinois, 21-10. Houston, 23-8. Iowa, 20-11, and Duquesne's 21-9.
Right.
Now, I just have that Well, who makes it? You know.
I mean, look, we would all love to see Duquesne in, but I mean, it's just, you know.
Does Duquesne?
They'd have to win their conference tournament. I've been saying that for weeks. They would have to win their conference tournament.
Now, 19 and 12, they have North Carolina State at 44. Okay. Let's see if Duquesne makes it into the top 70. And not seeing it, as they have Virginia Tech. Duquesne, right there, 91.
Again, it's a perfect example. You know, Duquesne, 21 and 9. UCLA, 19 and 12. So you're naturally going to think that UCLA, and not a brand power, even though they technically have, you know, 2 less wins than Duquesne. Duquesne technically has a better record because of UCLA being in a power conference. UCLA will probably be given, you know, the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying if they played against Duquesne they would necessarily win, but you see how voters think.
But what this is saying here, as we look at this, and keep in mind, Duquesne is the lowest ranked 20-win team. Everybody around them. Oh, Murray State, 23 and 9. They're ranked lower than Duquesne. They're at 100. But what this is saying is the NIT takes 36, 64 for the NCAA. Duquesne's definitely going to do a tournament, as there are several that are out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way the matchups work, you know, sometimes you might want to watch the NIT over the March Madness. You know, I'll say, you know, the past few years when, you know, Pitt or Penn State wasn't in, I wasn't as emotionally invested. I would, you know, fill out my bracket.
They're making St. Louis a bubble team, and they're 90.
Well,
So,
again, you have to look at their, you know,
Duquesne,
nobody,
nobody, and Pitt's 101.
Well, Pitt deserves that. They started out hot, and then boom, they can't win in February.
Okay. Now, you've got Colorado State, a 20 and 12 winner. Here is North Dakota State and Wright State, 25 and 6. You know, you have some interesting things as you zoom towards the bottom of the field. And I like the power ranking where it shows you where everybody is. LaSalle 15 and 15 is 185.
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
You know.
But and you know it is crazy though. You know, remember in past shows I've said you could have a school who is at the very bottom. They have, in theory, 9 wins and 23 losses, but if they win their conference tournament, they just get out the right time, then they get automatically put into the March Madness. I think both of us would say, you know, it's, I wouldn't go that far, but that's what happens. And then,
and see, I don't think that's necessarily right.
I don't think either. I'm more, I would say the regular season champ should get the automatic bid.
Yeah.
Because it's a larger sample size, a larger body of work.
Right, exactly.
But,
we agreed on something there.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
You know, Mike, I'm telling you, I really hope you're watching this show down in Carnegie.
Oh, man. But, so I think that pretty much does it. Any last words?
Put up your dukes. Let's go Irish. And here's hoping we have a great tournament.
Have a good one, everybody.